Honestly, there is so much happening this week with Gamescom and everything. And there is so many games and so many announcements that I want to talk about. But before I get into the Gamescom announcements and everything else in future videos, I wanted to take a moment to talk about one particular announcement that happened right before Gamescom started. And that is Terranigma. It's being re-released in modern systems. This absolutely legendary action RPG finally will be playable outside of owning an SNES, honestly. And because this game is very special to me, I really love it. And keep one thing in mind. The first time I played this game was relatively recently, around 2021, 22, because a friend recommended to me. I didn't know it existed before. So this is not me calling back some deep nostalgia from the 90s where I was a kid and life was good. No, it was just such a special game. In fact, it's one of the best games I've played. So I thought we could quickly go over what is this game, why I think so good, and what we know about this new re-release. So let's just get into it. Okay, let's start first. What is Terranigma? Well, Terranigma, it's an action RPG released by Quintet back in 1995. If you don't know Quintet, you may recognize them by being the developers of Soul Blazer and, most known, Illusion of Gaia. Now, Soul Blazer and Illusion of Gaia, along with Terranigma, are an sort of unofficial trilogy. Quintet made more games, including assisting in the development of Shenmue, the first one. But overall, they operated between 1990 and 2002. I believe they were acquired to some extent. There is a lot of legal gray area with Quintet and how their games and their rights to the games were managed. Now, while many of my American friends will know Illusion of Gaia if they were around back in the day and they like classic RPGs, Terranigma is one that you may not even know it existed because, in a very weird move, it was never released in the US. Was published by Enix, yes, the same one from Square Enix, in Japan, and it was published by Nintendo in PAL regions, mostly Europe. So this re-release will mark finally being able to play it officially, legally, in modern systems. It's going to be releasing for Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and I think even PS4. So, what is this game about? Well, like I said, it's an action RPG. And if you want to compare it to the closest thing, which will be Illusion of Gaia, maybe you've played it, I would say in terms of gameplay, it's slightly below it. I haven't played Soul Blazer, so I can't compare it with that. Now, the great selling point of Terranigma is its grandiose story, and what really blew me away. So, in Terranigma, the world is hollow. You have the external, called the light side, which would be the surface as we know it, and opposite, you have the internal dark side. There is a setup, it is explained in the game. I want to spoil as little as possible, so essentially, the light side, the outside world, it's completely underwater. Something bad happens, and all the continents get submerged. That's where the game starts in the dark side. You play as the mischievous Ark, a kid that lives in the only town in the dark side called Krista. One day, Ark opens a forbidden door and essentially causes a calamity. The town gets frozen, and he's told that in order to free the town, he will need to travel the underworld. I don't want to spoil anything, but he will need to visit some locations in the underworld in order to restore the world, and he will go into an adventure. Now, why I think this game is just insane? Well, the story of the game is about the story of the world. You see, at a point, Ark needs to go to the light side, to the surface. And in there, he will need to restore the world itself. The world is completely barren. There is nothing on it. So you need to do a series of things to bring the plants back, then the animals, eventually the humans. The story takes you throughout the entire history of the world. You watch the humans evolve advance through medieval times all the way to the present day. Hell, you might even witness some events from history. It is such a fantastic story that I really don't want to spoil it, so I don't want to go very much in depth. But trust me, you should play it. Now, it's not a perfect game. It has some weird difficulty spikes that can be a bother, and some enemies can be annoying. It's a very hands-free game, so what I mean by this is there is content that can be missed if you don't visit everything. Hell, you can play it with a spoiler-free walkthrough if you want. The story may not be as tightly constructed as Chrono Trigger, and keep in mind, most of the game arc is alone. While you interact with a lot of different characters, this is not a game where you go around with a party like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy. Arc is the main protagonist, and he's usually alone throughout most of the game. It is a very, very emotional story. You know, it really pulls the heartstrings at some points. Now, this re-release, it was announced the other day with a trailer. And like I said, it's coming to all modern consoles, and on PC it's coming to Steam and GOG, so you can get a DRM-free copy in there. Now, what we know about this? Not a lot. Not a lot was shared, but what we can see from the screenshots that were shared, this isn't a remake. This isn't a remaster. This is going to be pretty much a straight port. And that also includes the aspect ratio. So this game is going to be 4:3. As you can see, the playable area remains in the middle, and you're going to have some art in the background. But that's about it. Is that disappointing? Like I mentioned, this game hasn't been playable. As of today, the only way to play it is if you have a copy of the game and an SNES. It's not available digitally anywhere. A remake would have been nice. I'm a little split because I love this game, and I think it still holds up very, very well. Sure, an HD 2D remake, if it was done like, for example, Star Ocean, the Second Story R, which is just fantastic, another one I played recently, yeah, that would have been very, very cool. But I think I'm happy for the right price, and we'll get into that. I'm happy if it is just a straight port. Now, it's kind of annoying that it's not that it doesn't have widescreen support. I'm hoping at least it gets upscaled, so at least it runs at a higher resolution, because it's a very old game. But even like that, I would say it's a game that is very worth your while. Now, I've seen the discussion in some of the comment sections. For people that think, oh, it is unacceptable, that 4:3, I get it, okay, I understand it. But there's one thing you need to understand about this game and other Quintet games. They're in a very gray area legally in terms of who owns the rights to these games. Because they were like very weird when Quintet kind of went under, because it was between Nintendo and Enix, and no one was clear what the hell happened with the rights. So that's why these games have never been released in digital platforms before. They're in a very weird area. So honestly, I'm happy that we're getting them for modern consoles, and people that don't even know about it and don't emulate games will be able to play them. Now, in terms of the price, of course, we don't know anything. This is coming in 2027 at some point. It doesn't have a date. But for the pricing, I would say the absolute highest this thing should be, and that would be expensive in my opinion, it's $20. Considering it's a straight up port, not even getting widescreen support, for more than $20, I would just emulate it, honestly. But realistically, I think a great price for this would be $10. That would be nice. Maybe 15. I think that would be a very good price. Very much worth it. But either way, I just wanted to share this wonderful news. And I just wanted to talk quickly about it because I love this game so much. And I am very happy. And this is a great excuse to replay it. So please, let me know in the comments below. Did you know about it? Have you ever played it? Do you like it? Have you played other Quintet games? Share your thoughts. As always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.